One, two, three, four.
And welcome back to another episode of Breakfast with Brothers.
What's up, people? How we doing? How we hanging? Hope everything's been well. Ian and I back at it again. Here we are today talking about what?
Wait, don't be pushing things yet. We have a guest here with us today.
Oh, that's totally right. He was supposed to be like, I forgot. Like, this is like one of those things where like sometimes we'll leave the people off screen. Sometimes today, in a very special occasion, hosting in the same room. So, Ian, bring him on. Let him know he's your buddy. Introduce him. Show the people what's up.
Well, I'll let him introduce himself.
Hey, what's up? I'm Vinny. You know, we hang out here at Bartlett. I'm from Connecticut originally. Now I'm on Nantucket. Excited to be on the show. Never done a podcast. This is all super fun.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I should have came from off screen. Faded in.
See, that would have been cool. That definitely would have been cooler.
Superman dives into the shot.
All right. Well, you got to give us your favorite color now too.
Oh, yeah.
Favorite color? I think I got to pick green. I'm a big nature guy, big plant guy. It's an easy one.
Absolute classic.
Ain't
That's
easy
Ian's
being
favorite
green.
color too.
Yeah, it's also my favorite color.
Oh, nice.
I know. We're just like that, you know.
It's the best color.
But Vinny has been having these wild dreams for the last entire life. We're going to be focusing on dreams today. That is our topic of choice.
I do love a good dream. Haven't had like too crazy a one. Usually they're all super random, like in my case. But like it'll be, for example, like one week it'll just be super dreamscape. Like I'll just every night I'll dream like 7 days straight. And then it'll be like a lull, like I won't dream at all. And I'll be like, what happened? Like where'd they all go? So I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you guys like experience the same stuff, if it's just like always vivid dreams, or if it's like here and there.
Well, I used to not have dreams at all. It'd be like sleep, wake up, never have dreams. And I think it was because I was smoking a lot of weed. And I think it was calcifying my third eye. You know, and I wasn't dreaming. It'd be nothing. Then I stopped smoking, and now it's like vivid storyline dreams most nights. They are definitely random. But
Yeah.
I've been having dreams lately where it's like I'm dreaming a normal thing is happening. Like my dream last night, and I write them all down, but I write them in bullet points. I used to do a whole paragraph of like the whole dream, so I would remember the whole thing, and then it would be at 2 a.m. and I'm just like staring at my phone, trying to write this whole thing down, and it would just keep me awake. But like last night, my dream was that I was losing my mind. Like I was like going insane because we had to get up early today for work, and it was the first day we're getting up early, getting up at like 5:15. And I stress that I don't set my alarm. So I dreamt that I missed my alarm, but in my dream I woke up and I was like already dressed, but I was in bed and I woke up and I was already dressed, and my wife Kayla is next to me. She's like talking about like, your jeans are on, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know what's happening. And I couldn't text I woke up late and I couldn't text the guy I was supposed to be with. And like, I was like, he's going to be waiting for me at the shop and I don't know what's going on. And everything was out of control. Here, let me look up the bullet points for this one.
Yeah. Give us the details.
Okay, so I start with a title. So my title of this one was Losing My Mind. How's this one? And then it's just bullet points. So it was wake up in jeans, went outside, spoke to Hayden, another guy we work with, wake up late, can't text Elliot, can't find work clothes, my wife cries. It kind of pieces together, and then the last one is always out there. But at 2 a.m. it was like an epiphany. I had to put that in there.
Losing my mind.
Losing my mind.
So it's like when you're reading back your bullet points, like for example, like this is the next day, like you're talking to somebody like, dude, you're never going to believe this. When you're reading back those bullet points, does it trigger like the memory of what happened in that dream? Or do you just kind of like make a new story when you're like recreating it to someone like out loud when you're talking to people?
It usually triggers the dream. For this one, the only thing that really I remember is waking up in my jeans and not being able to text my coworker and
Yeah.
not being able to find my work clothes, which I think is the work stress part
Oh,
of the dream.
Yeah.
But that was like the vivid part. I don't know why my wife cried. I don't remember why that was a big deal. I think she was realizing I was losing my mind, and it was hard on her. I think that's why she cried. But I do that a lot. I have many. I just put them in my notes now. I really just like the titles.
Is it just your notes? Like, is that all you have in your notes?
No, I have many things in my notes, but I have a big dream folder in my notes.
Okay. It's in a folder though.
Yeah, it's its own folder.
one whole folder dedicated to the dreams. That's
Yeah. I've been having them more and more often, like I said. Like this last 30 days, I've had 4 that I've written down, which I think is a lot to remember in a dream.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see,
I used to kind of be that way, like on paper. There was a time when I would keep like a mini notepad, like next to my bed, and if I had like time in the morning when I wasn't just hitting the snooze 4 times in a row, I would like quick jot down maybe like 3 or 4 sentences of whatever I could remember. It wouldn't like you be like super story filled. It would be more like the big main plots of like what happened in the dream, and then like from there, like later in the day, I would go back to it and then like try to like piece together like whatever the big plots were from there. And it's like if I wanted to tell someone about it, like for example my wife or my buddy was like he triggered something in my mind where it was like, oh my gosh, like you're never gonna believe what happened in my dream, where it's like one of those like mutual moments. But then I don't know what made me stop, but it was probably how many times I hit the snooze, and eventually it just got away from me. But I wish I would keep up with it. Like I have some insane dreams like all the time.
At 2 a.m. when I'm laying in bed, like I'll have the dream. I usually wake up like once in the night for like a random thing, and I'll lay there and I'll be like, "Oh, that was super cool." I'll remember in the morning, and I stopped doing that because you don't. Like I'll wake up and I'll be like, "I only remember wearing my jeans. Why did I think at 2 a.m. something was important? Something I had to remember." And
What was it?
so now I'll suffer for like 5 minutes. Usually it's full of typos. So my eyes are half closed.
That makes sense.
Jeans.
Yeah,
But it's worth it.
jeans.
Yeah, they were whitewashed jeans. Little details are specific, and then other things are just like gone.
See,
Gone
like I truly don't remember my dreams very frequently. And it's like it's not even if like something's going on or whatever it is. Never remember my dreams. And like sometimes it's even just black. Like that's all I remember. Just
like
nothing.
the void, like just
Yeah.
completely non-existent.
Like staring into the void, not knowing what's going on, just there.
But but it's a dream. It's not just like you've woken up and it's 6 a.m.
Yeah,
It's like, no, I was present in the void.
Yeah, it feels kind of like a dream where it's just like
There's a clock in the void. It's on the wall.
Ticking.
it's just blinking. Oh no.
Well, actually,
No,
Ian, now that I'm like thinking about that, do you ever, because I can like recognize having those moments, but not entirety of a void. It'll be like a location, never really specific. Usually things are blurry, like hard to remember. Do you ever get to a point where it's like you're running or walking or going somewhere, and then the void appears as if like the Matrix, like the map drops off and it just
That's
disappears
scary.
on you? Because that's happened to me before.
I've had dreams like that before, actually. But truthfully, it's usually just like I'm in the void. It's just like I'm there. My dream, boom, you're
Yeah.
in the void, and it's just nothingness.
That's scary.
But I will say
It is scary.
I have had a reoccurring elevator dream, as cliche as it sounds.
Ooh.
When I was in high school, I had this what I call the reoccurring elevator dream, where I would go to bed normal time, whatever it was. I'd end up like waking up like to this elevator, this door just kind of like opening up, and I'd walk in and step in the elevator. Doors would close behind me, and then I would go up to the 13th floor every single night.
Ooh.
Every single night for like 4
Excuse me?
months. It was a short dream, and I think it only ever happened because I would wake up, like, it would probably end up happening in my, like, REM cycle or something
Mhm.
like that, right before I wake up in the morning.
Right, right.
So it's like I would get to the 13th floor, the door would open, it'd be black, and then boom, I'm up.
Oh, so there's never anything on the other side on the 13th floor?
Nothing.
Ooh.
Never.
I don't know if that's scarier or not.
I really don't know what it means. I still have no idea what it meant by that.
Do you have it
It's a
anymore?
it's a
When's the last time you had
premonition, dude.
the
I
void?
could feel it.
The void. The void. I haven't had it ever since, and I think that was like the last time I had it was I think it was like freshman year of college.
Okay.
And after that it was kind of just it never happened again.
Weird.
Like it
That's
went
true.
on for like 4 months straight in high school, stopped, and then it was like happening ever so slightly every now and again. And then yeah, it stopped probably midway through freshman year of college.
Interesting. I've never had a recurring dream. Always new.
I
Always
wish,
knew.
dude.
Yeah, same.
It's always new. One of my buddies, he wouldn't have a recurring dream, but he said he would like have a dream and he could tell it was in the same world
Mhm.
as a previous dream he's had, and he's like, I feel like I could like walk to where I've had my other dream.
Whoa.
I'm like, that's freaky. You're
That's like-
dreaming a whole world all the time.
That's like lucid dreaming, right?
Right?
Yeah.
That's spooky. Yeah, I guess for me it's not weirdly enough, it's not always like in the same place. Oftentimes it'll be like memories of things that I have that are just like altered, switched, adjusted. And then even sometimes it'll be inclusive of people I know but that I'm not really like super close with. Like, for example, you have like your friend circle, the people you talk to the most, your like coworkers, shit like that. But then when I dream, it's like people that I went to high school with, or, I've like worked with in the past that I only knew for, a couple months. Or even one time it was like this dude that I always see, like this homeless guy outside of Wegmans or whatever. He ended up in my dream one time and I'm like, I don't even know this guy. And he's just here. He's just appearing. And like weirdly enough, it's just that continual cycle of people that I'm never really around, like coming back into my dreams, and they're playing at times like roles in my life that like they don't belong in. Like for example, like a high school buddy that I knew for a little bit, and we didn't really like get along and stuff. He would be like my brother in the dream, and then another situation, it would be like some chick that I barely knew, and then she'd be like my wife in the dream. And then another weird ass situation, it'd be like I'd be, I don't know, I was like shopping in a Journeys or something. And this person that's never like worked in any retail job in their entire life just so happens to be behind the register. So I'm like, what's the correlation? Is someone trying to tell me something? Are these people living second lives? Like I could never like elaborate any of it.
Well, they say your brain can never make up a face.
Mm.
You can't create a face in a dream. So any face of a person in your dream is someone you've seen, whether someone like you knew or just like passed on the street.
Yeah.
You can't create a face.
That's
So
interesting.
it's always someone you've seen,
That's kind of weird.
right?
I didn't know that. That's
Oh,
cool.
I don't know
Yeah.
if I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So think about that. When you have like a scary demon in your dream, you didn't make that up.
It's Vinny.
You didn't make
Well,
that up.
great. Now tonight I'm gonna be dreaming about a demon that's a real person. It'll be like, oh my gosh, it's Chester from 11th grade.
Yeah.
Oh, that's freaky.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's kind of like how not to like change topic, but that's like similar to like how AI would like make a face
Mm.
because they don't really have the essence of understanding like a human face, so they kind of just like, oh yeah, like we'll make this nose really long.
Proportions aren't right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and like the ears are all wrong.
Just long lobes just hanging down to the.
This is correct.
This is right. I like it.
Oh. But you said lucid dreaming.
Yeah,
Have you ever lucid dreamed?
I have not actually.
You've never. I've done it a handful of times, and I've done it once like intentionally, and I tried to do it, and so like you can have a cue in your waking life that'll like help you get into lucid dreaming.
Mm.
So it'd be like whenever I would think about it in real life, like am I dreaming? You consciously go, am I dreaming? And then it's like no, and you have a cue. Mine was I would touch my palm with my finger. That was my cue. So am I dreaming like right now? No. All right. And I would do that enough to where it became like a habit. And then in a dream, you would do it. And one time in a dream, I was dreaming, and I touched my palm. And the second my finger touched my palm, I was like, I'm dreaming. And I knew it right away. Like the second I did it, I knew it right away. And of course, in a dream, like you want to fly. So I remember I touched my palm. I was like, I'm dreaming, and I dove out a window. And I remember diving out the window, being like, I should have double checked. And I was fine.
That is
So
that
wait,
is-
maybe re-explain it for me, because initially when someone told me about lucid dreaming, I thought it was when you exist, like for example, you're laying in your bed and then you wake up, but you have no sense of physical ability. Like for example,
So
you're awake, but you're not awake. You know what I'm saying?
that's different. That's sleep paralysis, which I've also experienced that.
Ooh,
So, but lucid dreaming, we can go back to that
okay.
because it's always scary.
Yeah.
But lucid dreaming is when you're in a dream, sleeping, and you're aware that you are dreaming. So it's like your crazy world,
Oh.
whatever. So in that lucid dreaming, I touched my palm, dove out a window, because everyone wants to fly. It was literally that fast, and I in a moment I was like, should have checked. But and like I dove out the window, I was heading to the ground, and then, like at the last second, it like pulled up. I like
Yeah.
pulled up and like landed on the ground. But like you always try to like you run and you fly, and you can't ever stay aloft. Like it's
Oh,
either like a big jump, and then at least in my experience, then you gotta come back down. And my hunch is that maybe like your brain can't predict what flying is like, so like you always are anticipating that coming back down.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But when you lucid dream, your brain tries to wake you up. Like you start becoming too aware, and so you're like your consciousness starts kicking back on, and you're like,
so it essentially wakes you up as you're
yeah.
going through it. Okay.
And sometimes it'll like try to scare you awake.
Oh.
And I remember that happened, and I was in like a shack when I was lucid dreaming, and I realized I was dreaming, and I knew it was about to get scary, and like this like gerbil man monster creature like came into the room, and I knew it was trying to scare me awake, and it ended up like the dream just sort of like fuzzies out, and like real life comes back in, and then you wake up again.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's
I remember
terrifying.
that. You can do stuff to like stay asleep. They say you can like spin around in the dream to like kind of stay in the sleeping state.
Interesting.
But
Well, what would that do for you?
I think it like allows you to what would spinning around like allow you to stay sleeping?
Yeah.
I don't know. But that's the thing I've been told, to try to like keep you from waking yourself up, from your mind becoming too aware.
Maybe it's like a confusion thing.
Maybe trying to trick my own brain while I'm in it.
Yeah.
I'm fooling myself. I'm gonna spin.
Get pranked. Get pranked.
Get pranked.
That's like the only time I've lucid dreamed, and I have had sleep paralysis, and that's always scary for some reason. For people I've known who've had sleep paralysis, it's just like usually the same thing, and it's like a person is in the room with you.
Yeah.
So it's like that's what you're saying. You're awake, but you can't move, and it's like someone is either in the room or sitting on your bed or like sitting on your chest, and it's always like an eerie figure. And that's like super common in people who have sleep paralysis. And I don't know if it's maybe the same vein of like your brain is trying to spark you back awake. But I had one, and it was like I was in my room, and it was like a new apartment, so maybe it was like something to do with that.
Yeah.
And my door, everything's normal, but in the dream state was cracked open, and there was a person standing in the doorway, and I could hear myself breathing, like panicking. I could hear myself going, but I couldn't move. And then like the door opens, and I could hear myself like really gasping for air, and then they shuffled in, and I woke up. But then everything was normal again. But it was
I would have a heart attack. 100%
I hate
chance.
that, dude.
Yeah,
That
the
is
fact that I could hear
terrifying.
myself breathing was very scary. Yeah, that's sleep paralysis. Had that once, I never wanted it again. Night terror.
Never want it again. Is
Never
that something
want it
you
again
can't
was not
control though?
pleasant.
I feel like it's got to be just randomly on set. Like I feel like that's not something you go into willingly.
No.
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 Yeah. I think I may have experienced some sleep paralysis when I was younger. It was when we were living in the house on Sullivan Ave, Zach.
Which one? Like the first or the big White House?
Big White House.
Okay.
and it was when we were sharing the room together, and we had the bunk beds.
Yeah.
And you remember when I pulled the bunk out, and your ladder was basically into my bed.
Yeah.
So I like woke up, and there was like something sitting on your ladder, and like just kind of like looking down at me. But I didn't like. I think my small little juvenile brain just kind of like blanked it out for a while. Like just like, oh yeah, that didn't happen. That was just a dream. But
Are you
like
sure you're not talking about that like orange cat that like broke into the house?
no. No. This was like legitimately some type of being sitting on your ladder, like watching me. And like the
That's
only
not
reason
terrifying at
why,
all.
yeah, the only reason why is when Vinny brought up like the breathing. I remember I can hear like myself like panicking, breathing through my nose.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like it was freaky. And like the way I remember it is it reminded me because I thought like at first it was like an alien of sort because like it looked really fucking weird,
Yeah.
and it was just like perched up on the ladder. And now that I'm remembering it again, it seemed more like a gargoyle than anything.
Mm.
So they say there's like other people have experienced like things sitting on their chests,
Right.
and it's like it invokes that like panicked feeling because it feels like you're suffocating.
Hmm.
Some people have stated they felt like they've suffocated like
Mm.
through sleep paralysis.
Yeah. Huh.
So like, but there's I don't know. I guess it's like folklore. It's that there's some type of like demon sitting on your chest, like watching over you,
Mm-hmm.
or like plotting against you, or some sort of thing. And like images of it show like small little like gargoyle creature, like perched on your chest.
It's weird. Dream themes are weird like that. That like a lot of people have, like
Yeah.
that collective unconsciousness that everyone experiences. Like, why is everyone seeing a gargoyle?
Yeah.
Or why is it always like a figure that freaks you out? Why is it never like? Why is it never like you're just having sleep paralysis and then it's like a party? Like all of a sudden your room like lights up and it's a dance floor and you're just like,
Yo,
hang on.
sweet.
It's
Dude.
always terrible.
Yeah, I don't understand. It's like, and like you said, there's just so many accounts of a similar or same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like where people experience like across the board, like, yes, I've seen that or I've experienced it myself.
Yeah. I know one of them, like a common dream theme that is supposed to be like a personification of anxiety is teeth falling out. That's like a super common dream that many people have that is supposed to be like that's your brain having like this is anxiety. And I've had that dream before, of my teeth not falling out, but it was like when you have a loose when you were a kid and you had a loose tooth and it's
Yeah.
like almost loose enough but it's
Oh,
still
yeah.
in there and you kind of like
For
move
sure.
around and like get it out. I've had that where it's like I'm an adult with my adult teeth and be like I'm like feeling it and it'll like break my teeth. Like
Ooh.
it doesn't hurt and it's like not like scary in the dream, but it like I can't like help it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's that theme of dream where I'm like my teeth falling out. Something's making me anxious in the waking world.
Ugh.
Yeah, I know that's kind of the only one I know of that like people
Yeah,
had and
I can't say that's happened to me, but I've been a paraplegic before in a dream. That was so weird. I was running around. I was playing soccer. Oddly enough, I started with both of my legs, and then by a couple minutes into the dream, I lost like from my knees down, like the ability of my legs. So I was just like kind of like hobbling around on like my sewed off kneecaps. And like in the dream, it was just like one moment I had legs and I was 5'9". Next moment I had half of my legs and I was 4'3" or whatever it was. So it was like I was in the dream running like quickly, and then once that happened, it was like time and well, not only myself, but time like slowed down around me. It was like the soccer ball was moving slowly through the air, like people playing the game, passing, whatever, playing defense around me were like running slowly, and then I was like half of their speed. So it felt like I was running my balls off, and then next thing you know, I'm like barely going anywhere. And I'm just like, oh, it's probably because my legs are missing. But then, mind you, it's just like everything slowed down. And it was the strangest thing And then, coming to like back to consciousness, I'm like quick, like searching my legs, making sure I still have them. I'm like, did someone steal my legs, dude? It's terrifying.
It does sound pretty scary.
I was gonna say I don't want to lose my legs.
But in the dream, it's normal. You're just like, yeah, this is life. I have no legs.
Here I am.
I'm trying to score
Go
the
to bed
goal
with
and,
your
like,
legs, wake up without. That would be the worst thing I can imagine.
Can't kick the ball, dude. I got no feet.
I used to have dreams. It was like when I first started dating my wife when we got married, and it was like something would happen to her, like someone would break into our house and like take her, or like there was some way I couldn't get to her, or I had to fight somebody. And whenever I would like throw a punch, I don't know if you ever fought somebody in a dream. It's like all your might, and it's like, ugh. And I could never like throw the punch. But one time I woke myself up. I didn't hit my wife. I woke myself up throwing the punch, and I woke up to like doing this, and it like pulled me out of bed, like throwing my arm up, like, and it pulled me out of bed. So I'm trying to fight these burglars. And that happened often. I'd have all these dreams. I'm trying to like punch this guy, and it's just like, no. Yeah, it's like from Jello. Yeah, I'd have that a lot.
That's interesting too.
And that's like an obvious, like, I know what that means type dream. It was like,
yeah, you just
I don't want to lose this person.
Right, you're just worried.
Yeah.
Like it's more or less just a worry that you have.
Yeah.
Of just like other things that are out of your control.
Yeah. I need to keep this person safe. Oh my god, there's burglars. And I can't punch them. I can't. It's stressful.
I'm pretty sure I've gotten
it's
shot in
incredibly
dreams
stressful.
too. Shot or shot at, weirdly enough. I don't remember if it was with guns or like bow and arrows, but I've definitely been hitting with projectiles in dreams before. And just again thinking that, all's gone wrong, like there's no way I'm surviving this. I'm bleeding out, whatever. And then, dream ends and it's just like, what was that? What was going on? Like, why did all that happen? Felt like I was in GTA or something.
Have either of you had like a falling dream?
Yes, I've had one, and actually, they say you always wake up like right before you hit the ground.
Yeah.
I hit the ground once in one of my falling dreams, and I hit the ground, and it all went white. Like I hit the ground, it was like a flashbang, like wee, and it was white for a while. And I remember I told my wife, and she's like, "I think you actually died. Like you're not supposed to die in a dream, and you died in the dream.
Yeah,
that's not supposed to happen." And I remember splatted white.
Well, you're still here with us today, and the myth of if you die in your dream, you die in real life, disproven.
Right?
Vinny disproved it.
Myth busted.
That's what we do here.
You just lost one of your 9 lives, that's all. So now you're down to like, 7 or roughly.
Right. Did I die for a split second when I was sleeping? I heard just like it stopped. I snored too hard. And I died. As soon as I hit the ground.
Your windpipes just kind of closed up for a second, and then as soon as you woke up, they opened again.
Yeah, I remember that.
That is weird.
But same thing, wasn't scary. Like my dreams aren't. I don't have nightmares too often. If it's a nightmare, it's kind of like the burglars, and I can't punch them, or like I hit the ground, and it's like nothing's ever like a nightmare. I don't have a lot of nightmares.
I have a lot of nightmares. I think if anything, like the things that I remember is like nightmares. Like there was one when I was younger. Like I said, I don't have many dreams now, but like when I was younger, like nightmares was a frequent thing. Like I remember running through a cornfield, cliche, running through a cornfield, and there was like this scarecrow like chasing after me.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nightmare.
He was chasing after me, and then like ran through the cornfield, and then boom, I was in a house, and it's like, where am I now? And the scarecrow is still after me, and like I saw like stuff hanging up on the wall, and like what I assumed to be like tools of choice, I can't remember like specifics of what was there, but I feel like if I remember correctly, they were like kind of like red, so I guess my brain just assumed blood.
Right. Torture.
Yeah.
Torture.
And then I was up. Like I woke up shortly after that.
Yikes.
Yeah. Quite good many of nightmares. Not fun.
And then you wake up exhausted, trying to have a good night's sleep, gotta get up early in the morning. You're just exhausted.
It's awful, dude. Like nightmares are probably one of the worst things to have. because it's also like, yeah, like it could be in the middle of the night and you wake up at like 2 in the morning. It's like, now I have to stay awake for like an hour. I need to just breathe and relax.
I just ran for my life.
What about you, Zach? Any nightmares?
Not that I can remember as of recently. I mean, I feel like the one that I could remember probably that was not like super vivid to the point where I could recall everything. Um, but it was around when the first time I saw the Conjuring, like the original Conjuring. Um, and that there was like the little jump scare scene when the monster was like chilling up on top of the wardrobe in the one bedroom.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
insane jump scare in the movie. Didn't expect it. Almost pissed my pants in the theater. Anyway, the point is, it was the within the week or so following that it was just like that was etched into my mind. It was like one of those things where it's like you blink like after like looking at a bright light and you could see like the after image. This is what that felt like to me. And in the nightmare, it was more or less like this same creature that was existing in like a different environment, mind you. I think it was like a lot of the nightmares that I have had happened when I'm like out in the woods, usually by myself. And it's like pitch black, there's not much going on, and it's like raining most of the time when it's like super eerie. So it was like this creature is out in the middle of the pitch black woods, no idea where I am. And it's just like, all right, well, this is when I die. So, and those things just I don't know, I feel like it's one of those things where if I did have a nightmare, it's like the moments where you're helpless and like your dream is just like happening, and it's just you have to run its course. Like you can't wake yourself up, like you can't pinch yourself in your dream. You can like I don't know if you guys have like done it in your dream, like or at least tried to do it, like the ability to like look at your hands. But like when you try to look at them, usually they're like wishy-washy, they're like kind of blurry, at least in my experiences. And oftentimes they feel like you can't do anything with them. It's almost like you're like relearning how to like function. So it's just like if you grab for stuff or like you're crawling away or climbing something, at least in my experience, it's just like everything is now just absent. Like there's no way I have any recollection of how to do these things. And even worse than the nightmares, it just happens and it's like, well, I'm boned. That's it. Game over.
Yeah. Yes. Got to learn to lucid dream, get out of it.
I want to try that. I truly do. I feel like I want to jump out a window.
Yeah. That was my instinct.
I'm dreaming.
I'm dreaming. Let me out.
Yeah. Talk about all these like weird things we experience in dreams. They seem so random or scary. Like I remember having a dream as a child where I was in a lava lamp. This is real. In a lava lamp being chased by giant sumo wrestlers. Like that was an
Sick.
actual dream that I've had. It's like, why? Why is your brain creating these like seemingly random images or like beginning to end stories or like common themes? Like why does your brain, when you're sleeping, you start to go to sleep, everything starts to turn off, then you hit REM sleep and it's just like lights on again? Like what's the advantage to that? Is it just like your brain is going through like deleting data to make space for new stuff? It's like, I don't need any of this stuff. You do not need to know you're in a lava lamp with giant sumo wrestlers. Let's just get that out of there. I don't know why we have this in there. Let's get that out.
Let's get that thought out of here.
Like, is it trying to just like get rid of stuff you don't need and free up space? Is it trying to tell you something? Like, why do I've had a friend tell, like, I've had this conversation. It's like, some people have thought maybe it's to prepare you for a situation that you'd either never be in or could be in. So that way when it happens, you're ready. So like he said, back in maybe caveman days, you dreamt you were hunting a saber-toothed tiger. And then you go through that scene, and then in your waking life, you see the saber-toothed tiger, and you're like, oh,
I know what to do.
I've done this before. I feel it's like, is that a thing?
Huh.
Or is there like a meaning, a great meaning to everyone's dreams? There's just like a big soup pot of dreams, and someone like scoops out a ladle and like puts it in your head of everyone's dreams, little pieces. And, like,
honestly, I feel like the soup pot like makes like a decent amount of sense. But I was also thinking about the side of like for me, there will be like the deja vu moments where it's like, oh, I've lived this moment before. And sometimes, it's not all the time, but sometimes I'll dream about things and then those things I'll end up doing in real life. And mind you, they're pretty plain dreams. You know, I'm not like stuck in a lava lamp battling sumo wrestlers or nothing. But it's those real, authentic dreams that actually exist like in my normal life. And then it's usually stuff that happened down the line, or it's just like there's always the chance where it's like the thing I did in life wasn't something that I did in my dream, but it's related. You know, I did something like super similar where it feels like, wait, have I been here before? So it's like, I guess where I was going with that, with the whole soup pot thing, where it's like you just get dumped, into all this like huge, like, your data file where your brain's just running through, and just like, all right, we're gonna just like check out all the stuff that he's got stored away in his brain, and we're gonna decide what to keep, and what to get rid of. So I feel like in that sense, there's got to be some type of like collection of those things that just exist, that it's like, okay, this will be helpful, we'll keep that. And then you get to dream about it again in the future. And then it's the stuff that you see, like I'm sure the lava lamp sumo wrestler thing, where it's like they see that, you're like, all right, we're gonna toss that one away. That one's going to the recycle bin.
I don't think you need the. You might, but I don't think you need the second.
Hey, listen, man, we're just gonna prep you either way. We're just gonna slide this in, and we're gonna prep you, just in case. Just in case.
Yeah.
But then
The
you got
wizard
like
might put a
Ian's
curse
like
on it.
elevator thing, and it's like, what are they prepping him for? Everything I've ever heard about like 13th floor in buildings and with elevators, they skip it. Like they don't have a 13th floor. They go from 12 to 14. Because of like, I assume superstition is the main reason. I actually don't know what the main reason is, but that is something I know, that in construction and with blueprints and things like that, there isn't a 13th floor that exists. They just skip it and they just go from 12 to 14.
Yeah, I don't know. I like to think that dreams are kind of like, they can be used in like multiple, a multitude of ways, if anything.
Yeah.
So like in my case, it could have been like a premonition of something further in my life. And I mean, like, like 13 has always been a big number for me. I have it tatted on my like wrist.
Yeah.
It's always been a lucky number for me. So it's not necessarily like a bad thing as most see it. So like, obviously the superstitious side of things, which it is for superstition, Zach, for the 13th floor. I think there's just been a lot of like weird things that have happened in buildings like that. I remember like watching a show about this, and they said a lot of like buildings that did hold their 13th floor ended up having like murders on it, weird disappearances, strange things happening, so on and so forth. So like that is like really and truly just superstition, like just harboring what has gone on in the past.
Yeah.
But I'd like to think that dreams are kind of like utilized in different ways. Like in my case, it could have been a premonition for my 13th floor thing. But it could also be something to either relax or calm your mind and give it somewhat of like a nice little TV show.
Yeah.
But like something to distract your consciousness from what is actually going on within what your brain is doing while you're sleeping, because it is active, as we know. Obviously we're dreaming, so it could be a distraction or a aid in helping you focus on something else while like other things are going on. So like the anxiety thing, it's like an indicator, like you're having anxiety. You need to figure out what's going on. This is what my brain is telling me to do, so I need to act on it. Or like, I've been very stressed out lately, so like my dream is showing signs of stress or extreme stress, which your genes dream. I would
losing my mind.
Yeah, I would think like there's probably
I'm going
some
crazy.
stress behind something. I'm losing my mind.
Yeah, cool. Because humans aren't the only ones that dream.
Right.
Like dogs dream.
Yeah, it's.
I'm sure it's
clear.
not. I mean, I'm assuming it's not detailed like a human's dream. I'm sure it's about like a lot of dogs like run or yelp like while they're sleeping.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's just like running a field with
the
your
little,
owner or
little
something.
paws like twitch.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so like that's why I don't think it's like a purpose, like it's preparing you for something or anything like that. Because like it's a dog preparing for this run. It's got to be like a data sync.
Yeah.
It's like, this is your life today.
Yeah.
You ran again.
Yeah. It's like an iPhone update, dude. It's probably just like, hey, we're gonna give you a quick reset. here's some TV to, watch while you wait. Like I like, Ian's
Oh
idea
boy.
where it's kind of like those little mini distractions where it's just your brain's active, stuff's going down. Here's here's a little filler time. Here's a moment where you can reflect, which I imagine that some dreams are like that, where it's like you get to re-experience a moment, or at least a snapshot of a moment from the past or something like that. And then also, on that same note, I think there is a purpose to be had with memory, like for memory's sake, dreaming about certain things you've seen, certain things you've done, certain people you know. Maybe not in the sense of like, oh my gosh, now I remember their name. Probably not. There's some people where I'm just never gonna remember their names, but in the sense where it's like reliving those things that happen, where it's just like, oh, it's like I'm sure it will evoke types of emotions and like different moods that will like set you up for the day following. Maybe, I don't know. I could just be spewing bullshit. Not sure.
I don't think anybody knows. I think that's the fun of dreams too. I used to have very normal dreams to the point where it was almost frustrating. I
Yeah.
remember I've had a dream one time where I'm like sleeping. This is the dream. I wake up, I go to the kitchen, get a glass of water because I'm thirsty, and I put on my nightstand. And then I wake up and there's no water. I'm like, what? What was that? I'm just upset.
What kind of dream was this? Now I'm thirsty.
Now I gotta actually do the thing. I used to have a lot of dreams like that. Or it's just a normal like wake up, went to work, had part of a day, then my alarm goes off. I'm like, I did this.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did this
I've had
already.
those before.
That's when I
I've
make
had-
my lunch in the morning. It's like I'll wait, in my dream, wake up, I'll go put together a banging lunch, and it's like, oh, good, I still got 10 minutes before I gotta leave. Wake up, I'm like, God!
Now I'm late.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I had a dream just like that. I woke up. I guess it was when mom was. We were still riding with mom on her bus, like in the
Oh, yeah.
morning. So like, I had gone through the whole thing, put on my clothes, got all my stuff together, drove with her to the bus company, got on the bus, sat my head on the window, like looking out, getting ready to go back to sleep, and I woke up.
You did the worst part already.
Yeah,
Now you're
like,
gonna
I got through it all, and it's like, yes, I could just. No.
See, now that's preparing you.
For what?
You ready? Preparing you
Yeah,
to
are
wake
you
up.
ready?
Now I gotta do it again? I don't want. I didn't want to do it again. I didn't want to do it in the first place. So frustrating.
Brother of a nightmare.
Yeah, at that point, like I'd rather be scared shitless and just wake up and be like, okay, I'm up. Everything's fine. I'm fine. My body's here.
My legs are here. I can still play soccer.
my legs. Yeah, seriously.
But I do. You mentioned deja vu earlier, Zach, and I do have. I've been having a lot of deja vu, but I think that's with our line of work.
Yeah.
Because we visit like a lot of properties through the day,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like sometimes I can't even remember what I did yesterday, and it's like it gets bad.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, we did that Tuesday. What's today? But it's like I'll get into like motions of like just doing work, whether that's like I'm in a tree, I'm on the ground moving brush, I'm looking at Vinny, he's looking at me, and then boom, deja vu, and it's like I've been here before. This exact time frame, exactly what we're doing, moving something
hmm
to a T. It's like I remember all of this.
Yeah.
And it's like I hate this at the same time, but it's also like, why do I know all of this?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it's
For me,
so
what's weird about those instances, like in that case, like you've existed there, like you've been in and around like where you're going to do work sites, stuff like that. You've been there a bunch. It's weirder now. I'm sure you've maybe had this happen. I don't know. It's weirder when you go to some place you haven't been before, like new town, new place, like across the coast, across the country, wherever. You'll go there and then you'll do something and you'll be like, have I been here before? And it just feels like, in some past life, you've done something extraordinary. And it just so happens you wound up in that same place in some fashion. And it's only happened to me a select few times. But when it does, it's just like the weirdest feeling just like overcomes you. And you're just like, what is going on?
Yeah, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like some people think it's like you said, like a past life that has experienced something similar before,
Yeah.
or has been in that motion. But it's also like it could also be like a play on your mind.
Mm.
Just because you're either like tired, um, it's something completely new to you, so like your brain is trying to think, like, how can I make this so that you will get past the idea of being somewhere new?
Hmm.
And it's like experiencing something new. So like, how can we relate this to what we already know?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how I think of it sometimes too. It's like, okay, I'm in a new spot. What do I do? How do I do?
Mm.
And where do I
do
do?
do I do
Do
I
you
do.
how do?
I mean, that makes sense. Drawing similarities, being able to build on an experience that you may have done elsewhere. Yeah, I guess that makes way more sense. And, I just like to think deja vu is special in its own way. And I'm sure other people will play up, a lot of different circumstances in that light. So,
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know, have you had any deja vu
Like
recently?
deja vu in my waking life, or
Yeah.
like in a dream and I've done this.
both.
Have you had that?
I don't think I've had it in a dream. I get it sometimes in, and I think it's the same thing. Like we work in a lot of the same spots, but I get it sometimes, and it's always like there's a set amount of time where I'm like, okay, 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 and then it stops. I'm like, oh, I was ready. I knew what was coming next. I was ready, and then it's totally different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't get deja vu too often.
Have you had it in a dream though?
Like separate from like a reoccurring dream.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I feel like that'd be weird,
That would be interesting. That would be interesting to see if that could actually happen.
right?
Like without a reoccurring dream or nightmare, it's like I've been here before.
Yeah,
And then boom, you're up.
yeah.
And it's like, whoa. Brain got way too in depth here. I did not like that.
I've had like dreams and dreams. I've like had inception dreams plenty of times, which are sometimes freaky. Where I've like
Sick.
been dreaming and woken up
In another dream.
and thought I was awake, but then I'm dreaming and then I've woken up again. Those are stressful.
Yeah.
'Cause sometimes I'll wake up at 2 a.m. and be like, oh my god, is it gonna do it again? Oh, okay, no, it's not. I'm like, where's the window?
Window's not next to me. Okay.
I've had those before. I don't like those. Those I start to get like too meta in my brain. Dreams and dreams.
Yeah, I mean that's like the entire plot of Inception.
Yeah. That has happened to me multiple times.
That's
Dreams and
interesting.
dreams. I'm dreaming too hard.
You gotta slow down. It's not good for you. It's not good for you. You gotta slow down.
Dude wakes up, he's in his car. What the
Wait a second.
Like, why am I driving a Taco Bell right now? What's going on?
Damn. That would be interesting to see, or at least to experience, like an Inception dream. I have not had anywhere near close to.
They're
a
not that
dream
fun.
like
They're not that fun. They're a little stressful. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I feel like you're just panicking the entire time. You're like, where the fuck am I? And then you wake up in the other dream, you're like, where am I now? And then you wake up, you do another one, and you're just like, what is going on? And then you're looking for like the little like Leonardo DiCaprio like spinning top where it's just like, where's my toy? Where is it?
Let's see. What else we got in the bag here?
Do you want me to read you more of my titles
Dude,
of
yeah,
my dreams?
actually, I was just thinking that. Yeah.
Yeah, you got
I
any
have
good ones? Like crazy ones?
crazy ones? Well, the
Like you
one
were
that
Superman
you were
for a
in,
night or something?
that I was what for a night?
Superman?
Superman for a whole night. No, I have ones with that one that you were in. This one was called Coworker Goes Crazy. He wasn't the coworker that went crazy though. He was just in it. And so like we're at a property and we see the client's dead daughter. She's like
Wow.
at the property. Sees the dead daughter. And then and same thing, your brain can't make up a face, but we had this coworker, not a real coworker. His name was Andrew. Totally made up person. His name was Andrew, and he starts coming at us with a knife. So like I gotta defend myself, found a rolling pin. They're just around. Found a rolling pin, and I remember I smacked him in the face, knocked this guy out, and then all of a sudden Cody's there, and we just start doing the Running Man. to celebrate that I knocked this guy out. That one, I woke up laughing. Like, it was hilarious to me right when I woke up.
He couldn't wait to tell me I guess it was like end of the day or something like that. You were like, I have something to tell you.
It was so good. That one's called Coworker Goes Crazy. I got one called like Underground Tunnels. Old Lady Travel Home. That one was kind of cool.
Oh, the underground tunnels was with Jim, right?
Underground Tunnels. Oh, so I did have one. That's driving with Jim on
Oh,
on highway. Jim's our boss. So driving on the highway, right? So these are my bullet points, and I'll explain. So driving on highway, get out and walk. Murals and tunnels of sand lead to a woman talking shit about ginkgo trees. Not cool. Wipe away window, see we're on top of the Empire State Building. Type into computer, cars appear on building. So I remember, like, we're going through, get off the highway, and he's like, you gotta come with me. And we go through these tunnels of sand. There's, like, hieroglyphs on the walls, and we're, like, snaking our way through, and we end up, like, we're going up, and there's these, like, sand-covered windows. You can tell they're windows, but there's, like, a thin layer of sand. Here this lady's, like, talking shit about ginkgo trees. Very important, had to remember that. And I wipe away one of the windows, and I, like, poked my head out of the sand, and I see myself, but it wasn't me. It was a woman, like a woman's head, but I knew it was me, but I'm like seeing myself. And then all of a sudden, like, we decided that to get at this woman who's like talking about ginkgo trees, we parked all these cars on top of the Empire State Building. Oh yeah, I poked my head out, realized on top of the Empire State Building, and I'm like, I know what we gotta do. Park all these cars on top of the Empire State Building so she can't get out. That's what we gotta do. Retained forever now.
What did the typing on the computer?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. Oh, right, yeah, that was the one
I
that you
typed
had no idea.
Typed something at the computer. It's one of those little blips where at 2 a.m. I'm like,
Typing at the computer.
that was the detail that made me go. Yep. Yep.
I love the logic that like the brain comes up with when you're dreaming about like how to handle a situation. It's just like, yeah, I'd do that. No, that's how you would do that. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
that tracks. I gotta park these cars on top of the building.
We gotta block her in.
Block her
block
in.
her in.
Because... yeah. Yeah, that's a fun
It
one.
makes sense to dance right now. That'll solve our problem.
We're celebrating.
Yeah, hit the running man. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, craziest now. Like, honestly, the craziest dream you've ever had that you've recorded.
That I've recorded. The
Yeah.
craziest dream. We got Coworker Goes Crazy, Underground Tunnels, Old Lady Travel Home. That one was exciting. Big angular worm was actually that was actually kind of crazy. Big angular worm. So that one,
yeah, I remember that.
that one's like, it's like this dystopian world, you know. And so everyone's kind of in like prisoners or they're in cages, and your job is to like work forever. But if you break the system, there's this guy who like comes after you with this big angular worm. And angular, I mean like the way it moves is like right angles. It's this big angular worm, and the worm is designed to like somehow my brain created all this meaning, you know. The worm was designed to capture the person but not kill them. It's to get rid of the death penalty, you know. So they capture you, they bring you. I don't know, it makes sense. It makes sense. So
Dude's got laws in his dreams.
Because captors live longer. You know, they want you to live longer. So, but from the perspective of the handler, so now I got the perspective of the worm handler. He says it doesn't work. You know, it's a flawed system. The big angular worm, flawed system. So I'm now back as a prisoner, and we're in this cage, and there's a bunch of pots and pans everywhere. It's like a prison kitchen. So to pay my bills, you got to make soup. You know, you got to make soup to pay your bills, or you get captured. But I escaped. This guy, it wasn't me, escaped through the ceiling. He gets out of the cage. So now he's free, and you can like the worm's coming. Like, the big angular worm is coming.
It cometh.
And the handler, which I remember this detail, was sad because he's like, it doesn't work. You know, I have to control this big worm, and it takes you. And so like he captures this guy who breaks out, and the worm killed the guy. Didn't mean to. The worm like angularly kills the guy, and the handler is like distraught by it. He's like, I'm trying to do this thing. We're trying to make the world a better place, not kill people. And then our method to keep people living longer, we killed him. And then I think that was my last point. I think that was, the point I'm getting to is guy breaks neck when captured. I think that was the main point of that one. That was probably my craziest one that I remember every detail.
It got
Clearly.
super political there in the middle, like oddly enough.
Right? I don't know why it did. The worm is like this personification of power, trying to get rid of the death penalty.
What are
What are morals in this dystopian worm world?
need to make soup to pay the bills.
That felt like I was watching a Rick and Morty episode, dude. Like that was it was involved in everything.
Angular worm.
It's funny to talk about. Like it feels crazy as I'm describing the meaning that my brain has created around this big angular worm. Like no, but
No, there's like there's subtleties of just everyday life within it, other than the big angular worm. But
yeah, and like it wasn't scary. Like it wasn't a nightmare where I'm like afraid and like this feeling of impending doom of this worm. It was just like experience. Like I'm experiencing this happening from all perspectives. From like I was the prisoner, I was the handler, I was the worm.
I was the worm.
I was the worm. Are we all the worm at some point?
Dude, absolutely. I think that was like true consciousness right there. You've experienced like everything. You were the worm, the handler, yourself, and
yeah, the prisoners. It was
the soup.
I had to make
the
that
soup.
I wish I remembered the kind of soup. That was a detail that I feel like I should have remembered.
Yeah, but I feel like that's a very minor
Broccoli
detail.
cheddar or something, maybe.
Yeah. Didn't make it good enough.
Clam chowder or something.
Couldn't pay my bills.
I'd love to be able to log back into dreams like that. Like imagine if you could just like hit pause, like as you're coming out of like sleep, you're just like, all right, I'm gonna reserve that one for later. And you just, come back to it and it's just like you're falling asleep, you're like, worms. Like mentally just praying that it works out.
Angular worm. Angular worm.
And this is when I wish I was an artist. Like a really good artist and could draw or paint and I could like show you
dude.
what I saw. Like this was the worm. This was the world that I was in.
That would be really cool.
I would love to be able to be an amazing artist and like I'd paint my dreams.
Yeah, but I feel like at that point you'd have to paint like right when you wake up.
Oh yeah.
Right. Like right now I can still
You can visualize
I can easily visualize the worm and like the prison was like a chain link fence with pots and pans and he climbs over the fence. Like vividly I can see that.
So can you like vividly see a majority of your dreams still?
When I look at them like come back to it in my nose. Yeah.
Okay.
Like the one old lady mobile home. That one is just like, mobile home, this old lady lives there and there's like this huge window pane and it's like a train and like shit's like flying by on the train and one of the details is mobile crock pot. That was
yeah.
It was like a feature. Aren't they all mobile? But I had to make that point.
Mobile crock pot.
And this room was like a stationary piece of furniture in her house. Like, kind of like how an outhouse would look. But the top was a crock pot. And you could like pick it up and move it around the room. And I remember having the dream being like, genius idea. Mobile crock pot. And I could
wake up, part of your bullets are like patent this.
Right. I'm giving away too much information now out to the world. Mobile crock pot. Actually, I've already patented it. You can't steal that.
Sketch out ideas.
Shout out our listeners. He's got dibs on this idea. Everyone else can go away.
Yeah.
Don't take the mobile crock pot.
No, I'm working on it. Let me at least try to figure it out.
I'm thinking, man.
Let's see if I could draw you the mobile crock pot. You'd be like, genius idea.
Wow, this is a phenomenal idea.
It was a piece of furniture in the house, and it was like elegant, and it had like filigree on it, and you open it was a crock pot. But then you could pick up the crock pot out of the furniture, and like.
But you just compared it to an outhouse.
And like how it looked, like kind of
like the lid flipped.
Yeah,
oh, okay,
yeah. And it was made of wood. I can see the whole thing.
So was it like wide, or was it like kind of a smaller crock pot?
It was like a square, like your desk or like a nightstand. It's like tall and square.
Okay.
And then the crock pot sat in.
Okay, I see.
In it, like
deep.
It was like the lid of the crock pot was like right at the lip of the square area, the desk area.
Okay.
But you could take it out.
Oh.
And if I could draw it for you, you'd be like, I'm buying it. Sold.
I'm buying it.
I'll take 10.
Yeah. I'm putting in an order for 150 units. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm going to sell them and make so much money.
Yeah.
Got to keep one for myself, of course, though.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, though, you've kind of inspired me to like try and track my dreams now. Like I'm kind of feeling like I need to be waking up and just ripping notes, just like
Just like
immediately.
a
Just
bullet point. That's all you need. Just like when you go to bed tonight. Everybody, listeners, and whoever, when you go to bed tonight, when you wake up, you have that one moment of a dream, even if it's like a blip, like woke up in my jeans. Just like write it down, so you remember the next day. You can like see it forever.
Losing my mind.
Losing my mind.
Losing
And
my
honestly,
mind.
it's just funny to read again. Going back
Yeah.
and like a month ago, I had big angular worm, and I can like laugh at it again and like see it. It's like I enjoy it.
Yeah, no, I mean, every time you've shared a dream, there's always been a good laugh. Or it's just like sheer panic in some of the
Right.
stuff that you've described.
Yeah, I'm not trying to like retain meaning from these dreams and be like, I'm
Oh,
gonna
sure.
remember that because it means something in my life. It's just like it's comedy, and I enjoy it.
It's calm.
I make myself laugh.
Yeah, no. I would also just like to see what kind of dreams I do have if I
Yeah.
do wake up to be able to do that.
Yeah. What are my themes?
Because I'm sure like we've talked about it before, but it's like you forget pretty much your dream, like any dreams that you've had throughout the night. Because I'm sure there's either like one or two, or at least three at the very
Mm.
least, where it's like, the first two you've kind of forgotten. It's just like you went through your cycles. And then it's like usually the ones that you always remember is right before you wake up.
Mm.
So it's like in your case, you wake up 2 a.m. It's like, oh, jeez.
Right.
But it's like you said, you have to write it within that before either you go back to bed or you like go out and start doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you only ever remember that last dream you had, even if you've been dreaming the entire night. And so it'll feel like a millennia, but it's only like, I think they say it's like only like 20 minutes of like a cycle, like within your cycle where like you're actually dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting.
Give it a try.
Yeah, no,
Write them
that's
down.
pretty cool.
See what you discover about yourself, about your subconscious.
Yeah, definitely.
I got a lot of worms in mine.
Angular worms.
But regardless, hopefully the viewers will take to their dreams tonight or in the future when you're listening to this. And maybe you'll dream of the Breakfast with Brothers homies. And hopefully you can remember all of Vinny's incredible stories. Thanks for coming out tonight, dude. It was an absolute blast. I'm glad we got to discuss our dreams here because that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. Cody, this was a lot of fun. I'm excited to do a podcast again. I'd love to be back. This was fun.
Sweet.
First experience. Had a good time.
All right, we'll have to have you back on sometime soon then.
Yeah.
But that is all the time we have for today, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in today. As always, check us out on all of our platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and wherever else you can find us. So until next time, we'll catch you guys on the flippy flop. So until next time, peace.